Happy birthday, Mr. Goldman.
How is Mama?
Never better. Thank you, Mr. Goldman.
That woman ought to go on a diet. You say it's my birthday?
Yes, Mr. Goldman.
Friday, 20th of September. How old am I, Charlie?
You're timeless, Mr. Goldman.
That old? Thank you, Charlie. Thank you. What's the temperature outside, Jack?
Fahrenheit or centigrade?
You know my preference.
68.5 Fahrenheit.
68.5. It's cold in here. If I wasn't so old, I'd done my vicuna. Matilda always adored me in my vicuna. It's a house without a woman, Charlie. I ought to get a new wife.
Yes, Mr. Goldman.
It's all these empty closets that are getting me down. All those coat hangers with no dresses on them. A man without a woman. A man without a woman. When are we due at the banks?
1107 National Bank of North America, 1122 Royal Bank of Canada, 1147 Security National, 1240 the Sterling.
When do I see DeWitt?
It's coming from Boston this afternoon, Mr. Goldman.
Call Schwab. Tell him I'm in.
For how much, Mr. Goldman?
All the way, Charlie. He's my blood brother. You know, the thing about the woman, Charlie, where do I go tonight?
The opera tonight, Mr. Goldman. You're escorting the Duchess. There are 22 begging letters this morning.
I'll give him all something, but not too much. Listen, when you call Schwab, tell him my limit is 100,000. I think you're right there. I think you made a substantial point. Hey, I don't like that Carter, do you?
No, I don't, Mr. Goldman.
No, I don't like that Carter.
I don't trust him.
I don't trust him either. Did you find the McTavish lease?
Yes, sir, here it is.
What's the date on it?
19th of March, 1947.
Oh, you see? All right. Make copies.
You'll have this photostated, huh, Jack?
Xerox, Charlie, Xerox. Credit where credit is due. It's a Jewish invention. Can I have that old newspaper?
Mr. Goldman, there's currency in here. Maybe $1 million in baggies.
2 million, Charlie, 2 million. What's the date on that newspaper?
November 20th, 1964. Mr. Goldman, forgive me, but $2 million in cash just sitting here?
The New York Herald Tribune. Alava Shalom. Couldn't cut the mustard against the New York Times. Credit where credit is due. Alava Shalom means rest in peace, Jack, in case you didn't know, in the Hebrew patois. There must be a poem somewhere, Charlie, in the box, an original. Look for it. Jack, did you know the Pope forgave the Jews?
Forgave the Jews for what, Mr. Goldman?
For Christ killing.
In the movies, the Romans always took the rap for that.
Well, maybe the Pope never went to the movies. Listen to this. The Jewish people should never be presented as one rejected, cursed, or guilty of deicide. The Council deplores and condemns hatred and persecutions of Jews, whether they arose in former or in our own times. How do you like them apples, Charlie?
Oh, well, that was very generous of them, Mr. Goldman.
You never disappoint me, my boy. November 20th, 1964. What do you suppose they suddenly wanted after 2,000 years? Couldn't be money. Ah, you found the poem. Read it to me.
I am old, I am old. I have bought and I have sold. Friday the 20th, 1964, the Pope has absolved the Jews. I am old, I am old. I have been bought and I have been sold.
Tear it up, Charlie.
Mr. Goldman, what about the money?
Leave it for a rainy day. Charlie, and we continue now with the McTavish brochure.
Yes, right away, Mr. Goldman. It was in the golden spring of 1947.
Cut that gold.
It was in the spring of 1947, at about the time that Mr. Goldman's Pelican building was about to rise into
Charlie,
the skies.
you've got two abouts. You've got two abouts.
Oh, yeah. It was in the spring of 1947, at the time, without the about, then, that Mr. Goldman's Pelican building was about to rise into the skies.
that the beginnings of the lease to the McTavish Publishing Company were planted.
It's a house without a woman, Charlie. I must have a new wife.
Yes, Mr. Goldman.
I've got to have somebody pretty to look at. Miss America. Miss America, that's what I need. I'd knock her up in no time, forthwith. You know what I mean? Still, maybe I should go for intelligence. One of those reporters, one of those Time magazine, long-legged Washington Posts. An articulate, somebody with a face, for Christ's sake, somebody with bones, somebody aristocratic.
Is Miss America in town?
I could find out.
Never mind. Babies. I ought to have babies. Go on, go on.
That the beginnings of the lease to the McTavish Publishing Company were planted.
You don't plant beginnings, you plant seeds.
Mr. Goldman walked into the lobby of the 400 Lexington Avenue building. He crossed the lobby to the cigar counter where he first officially...
Jack! Jack!
What is it, Mr. Goldman?
Cognac, Jack. No, bourbon. Make it Jack Daniels. In my great grief, do I know what I'm doing?
What was it, Mr. Goldman?
My father, pushing a pretzel cart.
Nobody's going to say, Mr. Goldman, your father was murdered in a shower in Auschwitz in 1943 at the age of 70. So he couldn't be pushing a pretzel cart on Fifth Avenue. Well, what could I expect? Even he was denied thrice before the cock crowed.
Shall I go on with the brochure, Mr. Goldman?
No, I'll have to think this out. You're a Panther, Jack. You're Muslim?
No.
Don't matter, you know. No sweat, even better. More protection for me that way.
But nobody's after you, Mr. Goldman.
Are you sure? Where will you be on that day? I'm white and rich. That's the name of the game, ain't it? Well, the money comes from the Arabs anyway, doesn't it?
I heard it comes from playing the numbers.
Jack! Jack! Help me.
Mea culpa, Landsmann. Mea maxima. God, why do I live?
I have built a city of rock. A juiceless city, fabricated of the bleached skulls of pterodactyls. Send me a testimonial, God of the Hebrews. Was I right? Was I wrong? Say something!
What's the matter today, Mr. Goldman?
Nothing, Doctor. I never felt better. The Pope's put me right on. You know what I mean?
Have you been taking the medicine I prescribed?
Don't patronize me, Doc. Patients you can do it to on the examining table.
I'm not a gynecologist.
Superblock, I salute you. Isn't that a gorgeous city? Look at all my palaces, my temples. Which of my palaces do you prefer, Doc?
The one that appeals to me the most is the one at 85th and Lakewood.
You know, I remember them all my children. I shared Scott Fitzgerald's bed. I sat naked with him in the Astor Bar. I, who enjoy the enviable and austere reputation of a long-established builder, was the friend of Scotty and Zelda, the hedonists. Scotty and I swam in Zelda's panties in the Pulitzer fountain in front of the Plaza Hotel. I had the pink, he had the purple.
I didn't know you knew the Fitzgeralds.
Oh, yes, indeedy. We drove on the roofs of our Landaus from Broadway down to Washington Square. call me a liar, Charlie. And up through Harlem, where they all threw ticker tape. And we finished at Child's at 55th and 57th for breakfast.
Will you take your medicine now, Mr. Goldman?
Of course, any time. Why didn't you suggest it before? Go right ahead.
That was my brochure you were quoting from before, Mr. Goldman. Thank you for remembering it.
I think we should send your brochure to the Pope, Charlie. I mean it. It's really a piece of art. Now sing for me. Move me, render me, rape my senses. Sing my favorite song. Es war ein Edelweiß, ein kleines Edelweiß. Holle Hede, ho la la, holle Hede, ho. Es war ein Edelweiß, ein kleines Edelweiß. Holle Hede, ho la la, holle Hede, ho.
Ganz einsam unverlassen, eine Felsenwand. Dort unter blauem Himmel ein kleines Blümlein stand.
The last time I saw Dorf, he was going from bed to bed, from litter to litter, from place to place with his pistols. He was tapping them on their domes with a barrel. He was testing their brains out. He was listening to see what was hollow. 1, 2, 3. Not another sound, but an echo. Bang, bang, bang. Bang!
Is it all right if I stop singing, Mr. Goldman?
Even preferable. You've got a horrible voice, Charlie. Read more from that brochure. What's this?
Valium.
You take it. It's good for you. Continue, Charlie, continue.
The intervening years have witnessed an accelerated pace in the Goldman construction program. Such prominent structures as the...
We're being surveilled.
I beg your pardon?
We are being watched by a blue Mercedes. None of those conspiratorial glances. Jack, monitor conspiratorial glances.
Yes, sir.
Continue, Charlie.
Such prominent structures as the 50-story, 1,003 Cedar Street, number 2 Maple Street.
May I ask who is watching you, Mr. Goldman?
Of course. Tell him, Charlie.
Is it Colonel Dorf or Mr. Goldman Sr.?
Neither one. Imbecile.
May I ask who is Colonel Dorf?
You may certainly not. We're missing the game.
First and goal to go. Hayes hands off to Horton. Sweep left toward the goal. Wait a minute. There's a fumble. Short.
Yeah. Y.A. Tittle, there was a pro.
Why, Tittle. And the Führer sat in the Berliner Sportpalast. Es darf nunmehr in der Welt kein Zweifel mehr übrig bleiben. Jetzt spricht nicht mehr ein Führer oder ein Mann. Es spricht das deutsche Volk. God bless America. Let's drink to Y.A. Tittle.
Y.A. Tittle, I'll drink to that.
Here.
7 months average, you know, a Jew worked in the factories. They had an equation. The food they fed him, plus a 15-hour day, minus his age and his health on a scale of 4. They got optimum use out of him, and then he went to the gas chamber. Unless he was strong. Very strong. I was strong. I was a veritable stalker.
And your father?
Jaime. Jaime Goldman was your average middle-aged Jew. So he only lasted 5 months. You know, the irony was he really never believed it was happening.
Jesus.
Oh, no. For Jesus, it was only 3 days and 3 nights. You're not drinking, Charlie.
I don't feel much like it, Mr. Goldman.
Drink. You too, Doctor. When an American talks football, he drinks. Come on. Let's show them we don't have a separate culture. And the Führer said, in order to carry on his existence as a parasite on other people, the Jew is forced to deny the essential evil of his inner nature. The more intelligent the individual Jew is, the more he will succeed in this deception. Drink. Act like Gentiles. Assimilate.
The last day he played, I remember it was raining. He must have already been working out mud plays while he reached for his orange juice in bed. I never quite could figure out how he could keep his glasses on that broken nose.
Two-edged adhesive.
I went to my box early. I thought of him sitting there, getting a shot of cortisone for the pain in those broken ribs. Thousands died prior to their employment in the factories because of the hazards of the weather. Highly uneconomical. The labor ministry was furious.
Would you care for some coffee, Mr. Goldman?
Tittle hit Joe Morrison on the Browns 49. He called Gifford on the square out to the sidelines in front of Parrish. He got the ball on a 2 count. He went straight back. He was covered by 3. He held up the ball and threw it to the sidelines as Gifford faked. All his life was in that pass. That I know, boys. And Parrish got the ball, and that was the end of Tittle. E così passa la gloria di questo mondo. Jo wissens, da kann man heute nichts machen. What is it, Charlie?
Oh, I was just admiring your knowledge of languages, Mr. Goldman.
Were you? I would trade all my etymological talents for fluent Yiddish, I tell you.
Oh, I can speak Yiddish, Mr. Goldman.
Yes, but you're ashamed of it. What kind of a Jew are you, anyway?
I guess you might say that I'm an American Jew.
An American Jew? Is there such a thing? It takes light years to breed a new kind of Jew. The genes are titanium. Where did your folks come from?
Lithuania.
A Litvak. A Litvak. A subspecies of the Ashkenazi, number 3 on the Semitic scale.
I don't think the Jewish people should be graded, Mr. Goldman.
In the beginning was the Sephardic Jew. He looks down on a German Jew and Ashkenazi. He looks down on the Eastern, the Romanian, Polish, Russian Jew. He looks down on the North African, Arab-contaminated Jew, and he positively pisses on a Yemenite Jew.
That's very interesting, Mr. Goldman.
Yiddish, my boy, is the way these diverse Hebrews communicate.
And brilliantly.
The United Nations should adopt Yiddish as their language. The language of hostility and the language of love.
Who was Dorf?
Very clever. You ask by surprise, I answer by surprise. Dorf, Karl Adolf Dorf. Colonel Dorf was a commandant of the camp I honored with my presence for 5 years. Colonel Dorf killed my father.
And you think he now wants to kill you from a blue Mercedes?
It should only be that simple. And so to bed. The Pope forgave the Jews. Jesus Christ. Is it widely accepted that J.C. took care of that himself 2,000 years ago? What chutzpah! Morgen, meine schöne blonde Arierin. Schlaf in pace, my darling.
Phone, Mr. Goldman.
Who is it?
It's Horowitz from the floor of the exchange.
You think us saviors of the way of life could invade Bolivia, Jack, maybe Haiti? Some defenseless little place with pygmies we could bomb?
At that number, we've already done.
Oh, we have? Well, a breather between genocides is in order. Without an adequate corpse flow, the market with us. Tell Horowitz, whatever it is, sell it.
Right.
Matilda. My Matilda.
Mr. Goldman.
What is it? A person cannot even communicate with the dead in peace.
I'm sorry, sir. I just wanted to make sure that Jack got your instructions straight.
Outstanding woman, Matilda. Very passionate.
Made a lot of noise. That's why she has such a classy urn. Beautiful, brilliant, anti-Semitic.
Mr. Goldman,
What is it, my son?
if you're being watched, you should call the police.
Police? No, that would be cheating. Besides, you don't tell the police anything. That's a great way to get blackmailed.
I had the Bosch mounted, Mr. Goldman.
Good, Charlie, good. Incredible, isn't it? And 500 years before Freud.
He was very, imaginative.
Charlie, imaginative. He was a draftsman, a photographer.
That's reality, Charlie. That's imaginative.
Move me to face the Bosch.
It comforts me.
What does he have going on in there, do you know?
I don't know. I've never been in there. Valuables, I suppose. Maybe some things of his late wife. I don't know, and I don't want to know.
My will, gentlemen, will be found in there. The keys will be in the pockets of my last suit.
Your last suit, Mr. Goldman?
The one I'm wearing when. Play your cards right and you will be both remembered.
Nobody in here but us Jews.
Hello? What? No. No, there's no Mr. Betchett here. I'm afraid you've got the wrong number. This is Mr. Arthur Goldman's residence.
What did you tell him that for? Put the phone down. You don't tell anybody anything.
I'm sorry, Mr. Goldman.
I want my coffee. And I want tea, too.
A foreign accent?
No, sir.
That was a foreign accent. And there was no wrong number. Betchett. Betchett. What kind of a name is that? Sit down.
Take notes. Here. Telephone these numbers. The one is a dentist in Munich, and the other one is an orthopedist in Buenos Aires. Tell each of them to replace the X-ray plates as instructed. Make the call from a payphone with this credit card number.
Well, that's not your number, Mr. Goldman.
I know that, my son. I'm devious. You're supposed to say, I'm Cohn. Hello, Mr. Devious.
My God, I'm the last one in the world to remember Smith and Dale?
Who, Mr. Goldman?
Smith and Dale. An ethnic comedy team that lightened my early years in this humorless country.
Who's that?
That's Rudin the tailor, Mr. Goldman.
Who?
Well, you said it was all right for me to call him. He's my cousin.
Is he kosher?
Oh, 100%, Mr. Goldman.
Nobody's 100%.
Let him in, Jack. I wonder how many Betchetts are there in the telephone book.
I'll look it up.
This way, please.
Yes, you're right. It is Rudin. Rudin the tailor.
Forgive us our paranoia, for we know what we do. Coffee, drink?
Coffee, please. Black.
Smile when you say that, partner. Sit.
So, you are making clothes for Charlie.
No, Mr. Goldman. He's just my cousin.
How much do I pay you, Charlie?
$800 a week, Mr. Goldman.
$800 a week?
Yes, sir.
I'm generous, very generous.
You certainly are, Mr. Goldman.
And you can't afford a suit from your own cousin?
His suits are $800.
Well, that's one a week. Stop complaining. Does that make you feel better?
Who needs it?
Cousin Charlie does. He was grateful. Some of us are over-eager for acceptance, you know?
No, I was pleased, Mr. Goldman. It was a nice ecumenical gesture.
You belong to any club, Charlie?
Well, just the health club in the building.
They know you're Jewish.
They're Jewish, Mr. Goldman.
Just try to get in the brook, Rudin. Maybe through charities, or you marry in. 2 in 100 years, or the Athletic. I know a Hebrew who never got past his soup. Always had to have his entree at the plaza and his cheesecake at the Russian tea room.
That's a beautiful robe, Mr. Goldman.
Take it. It's yours. Wear it in good health. I'm changing my image. Could you make something humble for me? In canvas, maybe? To fool Jack's friends?
You got it all wrong, Mr. Goldman.
Do it for me in terry cloth. Same style. And for Charlie, make a Vicuna jacket.
Certainly.
I discovered the secret of America 25 years ago. A silk suit and a Vicuna. What a young man needs to make it. In the winter, you wear the coat. And when you get into the steam heat, you take the coat off. In the summer, you carry the Vicuna over your arm, and when you get into the air conditioning, you put the Vicuna on. Only way to stay alive in America. Many died because of the hazards of the weather. You'll take his measurements, Rudin.
That's enormously kind of you, Mr. Goldman.
You'll pay for it someday. You know, the Arabs didn't like it. The thing about the Pope, I mean. An imperialist political plot contemplated by countries which, after supporting Israel politically, want to consolidate its expansionist policies through religious backing. You care to comment, Mr. Rudin?
Chicken shit.
Incidentally, add Cairo to your list, Charlie. The Hilton. Suite 508. Phone them.
What should I say?
Nothing. I just want the phone call to appear in my phone bill. Thank you, Mr. Rudin. It was very kind of you to come. You have the royal patent now.
Thank you.
I accompany you. You drive a blue Mercedes?
A Pinto.
Got any clients named Betchett?
No, sir.
If you get any, call me. So long, Rudin. You get health in that health club, Charlie.
No, I just try to keep trim, Mr. Goldman, you know?
You think they would accept me?
Why, I think they'd be honored, Mr. Goldman. Why did you do that, Mr. Goldman?
Because I couldn't resist it. You are loyal, Charlie Jew. As a reward, you have my word. You will never be involved again. It was kind of an experiment. I was out of practice. In any case, the situation becomes clear now. Don't ask any questions. It's pointless. Passion play is a passion play.
Good morning, Johnson.
Morning, Johnson. Johnson, this is my guest, Mr. Goldman. Mr.
How
Goldman,
do you do,
would you
sir?
like to get into a sweatshirt and a pair of shorts?
Why not? Anything,
Yes,
anything.
Of course. Mr. Goldman, it's right this way.
Keep an eye on that Johnson. A resident agent if I ever saw one. On the day, White Friday, they'll call it, shoeshine cloth will go to our mouth, whisk brooms will rend our rectums. Remember, I said it.
You're in very good shape for a man of your age, Mr. Goldman.
Not from exercising, Charlie. The surest way to the grave.
Oh, yeah? What's your secret, then?
The key, my boy, is the prostate gland. Does a dog have prostate trouble and get sick? No. Why not? Because he walks on all fours. It drains by gravity. A man now, walking upright, it stays there and putrefies, unless it's expelled. A man who wants to stay healthy should at least have one orgasm a day or else walk on all fours. Preferably both.
The key to good health, then, is daily sexual intercourse.
With different ladies. Much better for you than jogging.
Not everyone can arrange that, Mr. Goldman.
Well, you see, I used to tell my ladies, since he prolonged my life, they had to help me out for my family's sake. Women are sentimental. Have to be inventive. Arbeit macht frei.
I beg your pardon?
Arbeit macht frei. Arbeit macht frei. Arbeit macht frei.
I beg your pardon, Mr. Goldman?
Oh, that's a big joke of the Germans. Arbeit macht frei means work makes free. The only freedom, of course, was up the chimney. The faster you worked, the sooner you got to the ovens. There's that car again.
What car?
That blue Mercedes.
I really think you only thought you saw a blue Mercedes, Mr. Goldman.
If a Mercedes is not after me, I'm doing something wrong.
Anyway, sooner or later, when I was down in Medici, I told Betty Grable, someday all this
Would be hers.
I've decided to give a dinner party for princesses only, from all walks of life, the best. Take notes. I don't have my notebook and pen, Mr. Goldman. Then memorize!
Yes, sir. There will be 5 ladies, each, on entering, will be forcibly immersed in a mikvah, so we know who is in charge here.
You're going to ask these ladies to clean themselves in a real ritual bath? Are you serious, Mr. Goldman?
I'm deadly serious, my boy. The food will be served on a black table to the sounds of funeral marches. And the waitress is to be naked black girls. The plates edged in black. The menu to include dark bread and licorice sauce. And the liqueurs to make their entrance in ebony glasses. However, on second thought, even for a farewell repast, it seems ostentatious.
When are you going away, Mr. Goldman?
The leave-taking for which this admittedly imitative event is the occasion will take place somewhat precipitously. Therefore, I cannot set a date. Anyway, just get the party going, wire the girls, and bring me $2 million in cash.
In cash?
From the vault. It's now a rainy day. When a man bids farewell to his life...
Why, sir? For God's sakes, Arthur.
Money, my dear, makes many things possible. But money does not make it feasible to interrupt someone with more money. I speak of my impending departure, ladies, not in a biological sense, for that is so common as to merit no special note. I speak of it to all 5 of you collectively, because I cannot organize individual leave-taking of sufficient variety to sustain 5 such episodes. Moreover, together, you project a concept, a mystique, femina.
Bullshit.
How can you? You open your mouth and form the sound buh.
We digress. As I was saying, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. And although I am these days full of meaningless jokes, metaphors, images, and obscure illusions, my heart is in the right place. I put myself to sleep with my eyes open.
And because you are the arbitrators of the night, and all thoughts pass through the scrotum on their way to immortality, your grace envelops my departure and gives it purpose. To what this purpose amounts to, I'm adroitly concealing from myself.
You make it sound like the Last Supper.
You know he was a Meshuggah, don't you?
Who, Arthur?
J.C. You know the shtick, don't you? Theologically speaking, I mean.
As a Jewess, I'm not sure I do.
Look, a Jew lives his life as best as he can, right?
A person tries.
Then, on the day of judgment, he comes before God and zap. If he sinned, he gets it. All the way from eternal damnation to a $10 fine.
A little oversimplified.
Not as much as he oversimplified. He said, all you have to do is to believe that I'm the Son of God, wandering around in the flesh, and you'll automatically be saved. Believe in me, and you can bagger owls, and you won't be damned.
Just have to believe in him?
Well, that's what he told them. He told them he would die and get resurrected, so they could believe and get saved. And by God, he did. At least he died. The resurrection they don't have exactly on Polaroid. Believe me, a Christian is just a nervous Jew who thinks he bought himself an A1 insurance policy.
You should have been a rabbi or a priest, Arthur.
I should have been J.C., my dear. What bells will ring for those who died like sheep? Dies irae, dies ille, solvet saeculum in favilla. What bells will ring for those who died defiled, for those who died in excrement? Rest eternal grant them, light eternal shines upon them. Ave, 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 Arbeit macht frei. Arbeit macht frei. Arbeit macht frei. Arbeit macht frei.
ein Edelweiß, ein kleines Edelweiß. Halleluja, halala, halleluja. Are you all waiting breathlessly, subserviently for my return to consciousness?
It would kinda help if you got back here, Mr. Goldman.
In that case, I shall return.
Why did you do this?
I was drunk.
I've never seen you drunk, Mr. Goldman.
All right, I wasn't drunk.
Well, then why?
I was mugged. By Dorf.
On your own terrace?
How come he took your shoes?
He got tired of those jack boots, Jack. Wanted to try decadent Jewish dancing pumps.
I'm going to call the police.
No, not the police. The police are an obsession with you, Charlie.
Look, Mr. Goldman, this man obviously wants to injure you.
No, he has my pumps. All he wants now is my jacket and my pants.
But why?
Because he wants to be me, of course. You're being sucked into the logic of the mad, Doctor.
I think you'll sleep now.
Thank you for attending me, one and all. Go home now. I dissolve this episode in sleep. I want no lurking about to watch over me. Miss.
Keep driving, Jack. We'll let you know.
Yes, Mr. Goldman.
There it is again. Is what again?
The Mercedes.
Ah, now there is a Mercedes, huh?
Yes, sir.
The one I didn't see from the window of the health club.
Yes, sir.
Jack?
Yes, sir.
Next time around, park in front. Go over to the car and tell them to come upstairs. Keep your hands out of your pockets when you approach. Got that?
Yes, sir.
Then go to a movie or something. I'm sending Charlietown to bring them up.
All right, Mr. Goldman.
Good luck.
I can't, Mr. Goldman.
Why not?
I can't. I'm too frightened.
Oh, come on, Charlie.
What do they want anyway?
Me. They want me, not you. Maybe money. I've got the cash. They should fold like everyone else.
What do I say to them?
Well, just tell them I'm doing this. I should set an example for youth, or paying my dues, making peace as the grave yawns before me. They'll buy that.
Who are they, Mr. Goldman?
Centurions sent to arrest me in the garden. Charlie, same orders for you. Don't give him any cause to think you are armed. That's right.
Are they Germans, Mr. Goldman?
They're trying.
Dining room clear. The house locked. On your feet.
Willkommen, Herr Übermensch.
He's unarmed. Get your clothes off.
Why are you doing this to Mr. Goldman?
This Charlie Cohen?
So he claims.
Your boss may have a cyanide capsule up his ass. Goering did.
Ah.
Everything. Now bend over.
If you're going to check my mouth too, I would appreciate you reversing the order of examination. Used to keep my mezuzah there in the old days.
Raise your left arm.
Mr. Goldman, what happened to you?
Tried to burn out his insignia and blood type tattoo.
Insignia?
SS.
I beg your pardon?
He ran a little concentration camp.
That's crazy. Mr. Goldman builds buildings.
With showers and ovens. Open your mouth. Identical. Turn around. Laminectomy, the 4th and 5th vertebrae. Checks. Fracture here. Ditto.
Mr. Goldman, are those the x-rays you asked me to call mutant?
Not Goldman, Mr. Cohen. Karl Adolf Dorff.
Teach you never to trust anybody, Charlie boy.
He's sick. He's a sick man, don't you see that?
He's not sick enough.
What are you going to do to him?
Nothing. If he cooperates, he'll be given a scrupulously fair trial in Israel and free legal counsel.
What do you charge him with?
Crimes against the Jewish people.
You don't have jurisdiction here, do you?
That's certainly true.
He's an American citizen.
We have discussed that.
The United States will not permit a violation of its sovereignty.
There's a precedent, Charlie.
You mean Eichmann? Christ's sake, that was in Argentina.
Well, it costs just a little bit more to buy it here, Charlie. Incidentally, I do offer $2 million.
For what?
For me?
Stop it.
In cash. 4. Up to 10 if you give me a couple of days. Imagine what the United Jewish Appeal could do with that.
Roll up your sleeve. Don't worry, Mr. Cohen. We're only borrowing you. We leave you on the ground in Kennedy.
I'm frightened, Mr. Goldman.
Lie down. You'll have a little hangover, that's all.
Charlie, when you wake up, first thing, go by St. Patrick's. Schlep up to the front and ask J.C. if I'm getting the hang of it.